Good evening, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. I appreciate everybody coming tonight, and welcome. Thank you for being here tonight. This is our annual awards ceremony. I'd like to take a real quick special moment to recognize some guests. We have the entire city council here tonight, I believe, and the mayor. So that's the entire city council. So thank you all for coming. And also Cindy Hood from the Public Safety Board, Public Safety Citizens Advisory Board. So thank you all for coming tonight. So we're doing things a little bit different this year. We took a survey last year after our awards banquet and awards ceremony last year, and we changed things up based on the results of those surveys from the employees. And what we did is we did a holiday luncheon, and we handed out our years of service anniversary pins at that holiday luncheon. For those that couldn't be there, we caught them at a different time later on. And then we decided we were going to do, in January of this year, we were going to take care of our of the year and our special awards and make it a separate event and kind of dedicate our resources to this night and do a few other things throughout the year for our employees. So that's why it's a little bit different this year. At this time, I'd remind you, if you have your cell phones, electronic devices, to silence those. And as we prepare to stand for the national anthem, don't stand yet. The officers will be prepared to stand at attention. And we have amazing guests tonight. We have the honor of members of the Blue Springs Golden Regiment, the Flutist Quartet here. The members are Abby Eccles, Megan Pillage, Quade Stavely, and Mary Kay. So thank you. So if you are able to stand, please join us for the national anthem. Officers, come to attention. You may be seated. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the quartet has another engagement tonight. And if any of you know Dr. Alshouse, Dr. A, if we don't let him out of here on time, I'm going to be in trouble. So they will be leaving. So thank you all for doing that. Thanks, Chris. Is Glenn Nash here? Okay. Well, Glenn Nash was going to lead us in prayer tonight, so I'll do that real quick. This is off the cuff here. If you would join me. St. Michael the Archangel, patron saint of police officers, defend us in battle, be our safeguard against the wickedness and snares of the devil. And with God's help, we humbly pray, cast into hell Satan and all his evil followers that prowl about the world seeking the ruin of souls. Amen. So now I'm going to turn it over to Deputy Chief Edwards. He's sporting his Chiefs gear tonight. There you go. Right on your page.
Chief challenged me. He said, I dare you to wear the apparel of the winning team of Super Bowl. So I broke it out.
Oh.
thank you for each of our department members and your family and our volunteers that are here tonight. It's because of you and the work that you do that we're here. There's several members of our department that could not be here, and several that are working in patrol, working in dispatch, working in our detention center. And again, because of the work they do, the work you do, that's the reason we're here, and that's the reason that BSPD is successful. At this time, if I could have any spouses or significant others or partners of any of our volunteers or department employees stand at this time. If you're the spouse, significant other of any of our department employees or our volunteers, please stand. Remain standing. If we have any children of our department members here tonight or children of our volunteers, please stand. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you, because your support is also critical to our success, so thank you. And we're going to move into the recognition of the Employee of the Month Awards. During the past year, command staff teams select an employee each month, and it's not just an employee that's done something significant that month or the previous month. It's an employee that has been that continual, that steady performer. And I will tell you, we usually don't have a problem coming up with names. It's a problem on deciding which one's going to get the selection. We settle that in various ways. We used to do arm wrestling. Last month, Captain Myers beat me. And after that event, Chief said we won't be doing that anymore. But for the month of January, Officer Troy Hofstadter, please stand and remain standing and hold your applause until we get through all the months. Officer Kobe Jacobson. Officer Patrick Beanland. Detention Officer Alex Hawkes. Detective Steve Emberton. Detective Rob Olson. Officer Alex Smith. Officer Ashley Zai. Officer Brandon Shrout. Officer Chris McCoy. Officer Amber Westerman. And finally, Sergeant Brandon Claxton. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce the awards committee. And what makes this part of the awards ceremony so special is that the awards are reviewed by a committee of peers drawn from each segment of the police department. Any employee of the department can submit a nomination for an award. This is then objectively reviewed by the committee based on the definitions of each award contained in our general orders. So let's take the time to recognize this year's awards committee. Linda Rosewarren, if you're here, please stand. Officer Nick Weber. I know several of these personnel are working, but Detention Officer Patrick Morgan. Officer Alex Smith. Sergeant David Johnson. Detective Ben McRae. Nice shirt, Ben. Officer Nick Brooks, and he filled in for Officer Tiffany Briggs when she was injured while on duty before the meeting. And then, last but least, Judy Hopmer, please stand. Judy kept the group on task and recorded the meeting minutes and prepared the program and the script for tonight. But let's give them all a round of applause. Supervisor awards and special recognition. Supervisors and peers have an opportunity to recommend members of the department that have performed an assignment or a task in an outstanding manner, going the extra distance to accomplish a task for a supervisor's award. Many deserving employees have received supervisor's awards throughout the year. The following personnel, please stand and remain standing if you're here. Please hold your applause till the end. Officer Jennifer Foster, Sergeant Keegan Hughes, and I know Keegan's home recovering. Officer Brandon Perry. Let me read you real quick about a couple of things that they did. Officer Jennifer Foster received a supervisor award for helping Administrative Assistant Tammy Kunkel, who began to choke for unknown reasons on March 29th of 2019. And Officer Foster happened to be on duty when that event occurred. Sergeant Keegan Hughes and Officer Brandon Perry received supervisors awards for their significant roles in assisting with the department on a probable cause for a search warrant. Their actions directly impacted the safety of our community by getting 3 firearms from a known criminal. There are also other award recipients that occurred during the year. We'd like to recognize them at this time. If you're here, please stand. Mid-America CIT Officer of the Year for 2019 was awarded to Officer Amber Westerman by the National Alliance of Mental Illness of Greater Kansas City for the metro area. Officer Sarah Perdue and Officer Nick Getling received the MAD Award for Mothers Against Drunk Driving for their efforts in making DWI arrests and working with MAD to prevent DWIs. Congratulations and thank you for your work. Chief?
How about one round of applause for So it's my pleasure to do tonight meritorious service awards. The Meritorious Service Award is the 4th highest award a member of the department can receive. These award recipients must display exemplary, continuous, long-term professionalism. They must also be in a duty of great responsibility and distinguish themselves and the department. Mark Sparks, would you please join me up front, please? Now, I made some notes and I went off the script here a little bit, and I need to find what I did with that. There they are. Mark, you're receiving a Meritorious Service Award tonight for your 30 plus years of service to staff. In 1987, 1988, you joined the team as point man. Basically, there wasn't a team. You guys made it a team. And then you advanced all the way through the years to team leader. You've been through 30 years of tactics changes, equipment changes, personnel changes, all kinds of things. I can't imagine all the things you've seen. You have served in an exemplary fashion. And have been instrumental in making STAC what it is today. Your ultimate goal has always been the safety of the team and the citizens that you serve. Working to stay abreast of changes in the tactical field and advancements in technology has been a daunting task. Even when you narrowed your role as team leader, you developed other team leaders to carry on. All of these represent your dedication, your pride, and your passion for this tactical team success, for staff success. Thank you. Congratulations. was sitting next to Sergeant Jeremy Dickstein, and I think he had, oh, he is here. Jeremy, come on back up. I thought maybe you had to leave. Jeremy, in May of 2018, you took up testing and evaluation of outerwear vests for officers, and you're sporting it tonight.
Yeah.
Good job. You researched, you investigated, field tested samples from various manufacturers. After a year, you and your testing officers came together with pros and cons of each vest for their durability and how they perform. A recommendation was made to command staff several times. And once you made me happy, after approval, you worked toward fair and competitive pricing for the vest. Through your dedication, hard work, and relentless standard of quality for the officer's vest, you have devoted over a year and a half to make this program a success. And I'm pretty sure the officers are happy we're doing it. Good job. Thank you.
Perfect. One more.
Thanks, sir. First job. Is that sound good? I failed to mention, but we didn't do the vest just for looks, although Jeremy does look good in that. We did it because it takes a lot of the weight from the duty belt off the hips and backs. So it'll be huge going forward in the future. Now I want to move on to life-saving awards. This is our third highest award, and always my favorite part of the evening. The life-saving award may be presented to any police department employee responsible for saving a human life. Before I have all the officers stand that are here tonight, I'd like to let you know what the officers did to be recognized for this honor. These officers have already received the life-saving award. Another one of the changes we made this year, we felt it would be important to give that life-saving award in front of their peers at a shift briefing, at a meeting, maybe on a training day, as soon as after the event as we could do. So we've been doing that throughout the year. So I'm going to give you a quick summary of what these officers did. Life-saving award was issued to Officer Tiffany Briggs for life-saving efforts on June 23rd, 2019. Officer Briggs, Central Jackson County Fire Protection District, Captain Samuel Murphy, Heather Weidenheimer, Hammer, and Kirsten Stallings rendered immediate aid to the victim of a traffic accident. Tourniquets were applied to the victim by Officer Briggs to his leg and Captain Murphy to his arm. The quick response and quick application of life-saving measures ensured the victim was given a fighting chance to survive his severe injuries. On July 16th, 2019, CJC Deputy Chief Kirk Lair verified the doctor stated that if tourniquets had not been applied, the victim would have died. Life-saving award was issued to Officer Justin Wyrick. In June 2019, Officers Jacobson and Wyrick were dispatched to the 900 block of Jefferson, where a male subject was reported to be unresponsive. Upon arrival, Officer Wyrick found the victim not breathing and did not have a pulse. Officer Wyrick immediately began compressions, while Officer Jacobson applied the AED. No shock was warranted, and Officer Wyrick continued to give good and strong compressions to the victim. CJC arrived on scene and found a pulse. CJC staff advised that Officer Wyrick's quick action to conduct quality CPR saved the victim. At the annual Metro Police Chiefs Banquet and Awards Ceremony, both Officers Briggs and Wyrick received the Metropolitan Police Chiefs Association Life-Saving Award for their actions. Life-saving awards were also issued to Officer Chris Madden and Officer Anthony Corona for their actions in August of 2019. Officers Madden and Saucedo were dispatched to the 2000 block of Stratford on a CJC assist. A 15-year-old female had passed out in the bathtub and was breathing very slowly. Her mother was starting CPR. Officer Corona arrived on scene and advised that she did not have a pulse, and he started chest compressions. Officer Saucedo arrived next, with Officer Madden right behind. Officer Corona was able to find the pulse, and she was breathing slowly, but then stopped again. Officer Corona advised his hands were numb, and he could not feel the pulse. Officer Sacedo was unable to locate a pulse. Officer Corona then started chest compressions again. Officer Sacedo started to prepare the AED when Officer Madeline arrived. Due to Officer Madeline's experience with the AED, Officer Sacedo let him apply the AED. The AED advised no shock, but it was necessary to immediately continue chest compressions. So Officer Corona continued chest compressions until CJC arrived. In September of that year, Officer Sacedo conducted a follow-up with the victim's mother. She advised she was grateful for the aid the officers were able to give. The cause of the medical incident had not been found at the time, but her daughter was healthy and well at the time of the follow-up. Due to the quick response and the aid rendered on scene, Officer Corona and Officer Madeline were able to assist in saving the young lady's life, resulting in their life-saving award. A life-saving award was also issued to Sergeant Jeremy Dickstein. On December 12, 2019, he went to a CJ Sista call in the 600 block Camp Tree in regard to a 60-year-old female that had fallen and cut her leg. Dispatch advised the caller stated there was a large cut and lots of bleeding. Sergeant Dickstein and Officer David Atkinson were dispatched to the call. Sergeant Dickstein arrived first and immediately applied a tourniquet to the victim's left leg. There was a very large amount of blood beneath the victim, and her jeans were blood-soaked. Officer Chris Myers spoke with CJC paramedic Jamie Taylor later. In paramedic Taylor's opinion, the quick application of the tourniquet played a pivotal role in saving the victim's life. For this reason, Sergeant Dickstein received a life-saving award. So would Officer Tiffany Briggs, Justin Wyrick, Chris Madeline, Anthony Corona, Sergeant Dickstein, if you're here, please stand. As Deputy Chief Edwards mentioned, one of the special things about this award ceremony is that any of the employee of the department may nominate another member, another employee in any of the 4 categories for officer, civilian, employee of the year, etc., or for any of the awards. It's important to note that all these awards are in and of themselves prestigious. It is a recognition by an employee's peers that makes the award special. So Volunteer of the Year is going to be given by Sergeant Brandon Claxton. Sergeant Brandon, would you come up? Let me find your spot here. You got your script?
Steve Knowles, can you please come forward? Right in front. There we go. Steve, it is an honor to award you the 2019 Volunteer of the Year. Your actions and efforts as a police volunteer are a positive contribution and a reflection on the Blue Springs Police Department as well as the City of Blue Springs. Some of Steve's dedicated volunteer efforts include deployment and retrieval of the 2 radar trailers each week. It takes a minimum of 3 hours per day, 2 days a week. Oftentimes, Steve will be out there 3 days a week. Steve has trained other VIPs to assist with this project. When there is a need in dispatch, Steve has learned how to answer the non-emergency phone calls, enter the information into our CAD system, and officers are dispatched by dispatchers. Steve has played Santa Claus on various occasions, Summertime Santa at National Night Out Against Crime for the past 3 years, rode the hayride keeping the kids and adults amused with Santa stories, and every year at Shop with a Blue Springs Cop. He assists with traffic direction for 5Ks, emergency dispatcher for the Night Glow bike ride. Steve is fast approaching 2,500 hours as a VIP, as VIP service to the Blue Springs Police Department. Congratulations.
You're in the middle. I'm in the middle, Sam. You're pointing both ways. We'll look that way.
Thank you, Dr. Brown.
There you go.
One more.
Lieutenant Decker, please come forward for Civilian of the Year.
Well, it's my honor to present the Civilian of the Year award, and Patrol Officer Anita Waller will join me. Anita is given the 2019 Civilian of the Year award. Anita has consistently gone above and beyond her normal range of duties to provide exemplary service to the citizens of Blue Springs. She provides service to citizens who have called other agencies and who were met with repeated no's. Anita has been able to provide not only relief to the citizen, but also exemplary care for the animal left in her charge. Anita has been flexible and understanding when it comes to the needs of the patrol division and consistently answers the call when an officer needs animal control assistance. Her dedication allows the patrol division to conduct their duties and not have to worry about the care of what often is the victim's most treasured belongings, their pets. ACO Waller has been flexible in her changing schedule this year, very much so, as circumstances outside her control forced her to work long weeks without respite. She is willing to flex her schedule to meet the needs of the department and provide outstanding service to the citizens of Blue Springs. Congratulations, Anita, for the 2019 Civilian of the Year. Good job.
Officer of the Year will be Deputy Chief Edwards.
It's a challenge to choose just one officer for this award. We've got, when it comes to Super Bowl team here at BSPD, we do have a Super Bowl team. Detective Steve Emberton, would you please come to the front of the room?
Get up there, Steve.
Involved in our community, very professional, positive, and serving attitude. Very knowledgeable and a great example to other officers is just a small list of items describing Steve. He's been with BSPD for more than 8 years and in law enforcement for a little over 11 years. He's received numerous compliments for the work that he performs throughout the year from his coworkers, from other Bureau personnel, and from the community, including posts on Facebook. Detective Emberton can be seen at numerous department functions, including NNO, our face-to-face forums, and our police memorial service, and our annual Blue Springs Shop with a Cop. Steve has continually demonstrated excellence in the work that he performs, and he has clearly demonstrated continued dedication and professionalism to this career. He is clearly an outstanding officer and very deserving of the 2019 Police Officer of the Year Award. Congratulations, Steve.
Smile. One more.
Supervisor of the Year will be read and given by Captain Jeff Sargent.
Sergeant Mike Russell, would you please come over? Mike does a great job managing several detectives in the Bureau. Cases they work are sensitive and many times require a soft touch when dealing with the victims. He can balance his obvious concern in caring for the victims with a professional courtesy and discipline. Often, he will take cases to work them to closure. Mike supervises the Property and Evidence Unit as well. He has made advancements in the area and always seeking ways to improve the unit. When an improvement originates with an employee in the unit, he is quick to give them recognition. Mike does a great job, is well respected by his peers and employees. He is always willing to help and provide advice or direction when needed. He performs well when assigned a task and will work tirelessly to bring closure to the case. These are a few of the reasons Sergeant Russell has been chosen as the 2019 Supervisor of the Year. Congratulations.
You three go like this.
It's all the scale.
Perfect.
As we wrap up our award ceremony tonight, I really appreciate the turnout. We didn't know quite what to expect with the changes, and I do appreciate everybody coming out. I want to thank Judy. Judy made this great thing that's going to blanket. I don't know, what do you call that, Judy? Wall. It's going to look good on my wall, I think. Although I may have to arm wrestle and wrap. And David for being here tonight, David Watson, Jennifer for taking pictures, for our vets for hanging out and doing that, for everybody who worked to put this together, from the awards committee to Captain Rapp for helping to plan it. I really say thank you. Our departments had a great 2019. A lot of things have happened. We're looking forward to an incredible 2020. I was thinking today that about the badge again. You know, I talk about the badge when we swear officers in, and I talk about the badge quite a bit. The mayor talks about the badge and his badges, his DARE graduations, and the badge means a lot. There are those that wear the badge physically. We're passionate, they're passionate about what they do. They're proud for what the badge stands for and what it represents, and work to keep the badge unsullied. There are also those that wear the badge symbolically. Our civilian employees, our family members, our volunteers, and members of our community. It's equally important because they too are passionate about what the badge represents. Passionate about the service they provide. That's what you all do, and I'm proud of you. And I hope that we continue to do that 2020 and beyond. I'm proud of you all. To each of you, thank you for your efforts. And how about one final round of applause as we close the night out and we end this ceremony for all of our award winners and for all of you. Thank you. That concludes our service. Thank you.